specifically in the last couple of days, but last time I looked, it was close. So,
How about the primary this year? Is it pretty close to how it was going?
oh, primaries don't even compare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Generals,
You were pretty busy even for a
we
primary.
were busy for a primary. That was one of the busiest primaries we've had.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have 9 a.m. We are.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is 9 a.m., October 16th, and welcome to the weekly Cudahy County Board of Commissioners meeting. We'll open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Lee, will you lead us this morning?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lee. A couple of housekeeping things. If you have a cell phone, please silence it or turn it off. If you get a call during the meeting and you need to take it, please step out into the rotunda area so you don't disrupt the meeting. Do we have anyone in the audience that wishes to address the board during the open? We'll allow time for that. We won't be able to act on your request, but we could hear a request if you have one. Seeing none, is there any of the commissioners that feel that there's a conflict of interest of any of the items on the agenda today?
No.
I see a lot of no head shaking, and so with that, I'll...
Streaming live.
Yes, we are streaming live, of course, as always, and if you do approach the commission, you will be streamed live. So just a heads up so you know about that.
Make a motion to
We have a
approve
motion
the
by
agenda.
Hatton to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
A second by Gable. Any comments, any questions? Anything? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approve the minutes of the
Move to
October
approve
9th
as
meeting.
emailed.
Second.
We have a motion by Hatton, a second by Van Duzen. Any comments? Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Let's go right on to monthly reports. Facility manager, Milo, you're on. Good morning, Milo. There was already someone in here looking for you this morning. Morning. Yeah.
Morning,
Good
Milo.
morning, Myla.
They will.
Milo,
Freezing.
Just turn your mic on by pushing that button there.
Oh, by the way, if you come on up, we got new mics up here, so you don't have to, you can actually sit back a little bit and talk in. I think they'll pick up out there all right. Do they, Don? Good. Go ahead, Milo. Thank you.
Okay, it's a pretty abbreviated version this morning. I'll start with Memorial Park. As you know, the park was closed at the end of September. We have all the winterization process completed now, so that is done. Just a point of interest, we had HI, or Home and Garden TV on site at Memorial Park during the month of September. They were doing a story in the Watertown area, and they come out and used our park for part of their filming. And we'll keep you informed on the dates of that when it's going to be aired on television.
Good.
Nice.
So I thought that was pretty cool. Government buildings, courthouse, as you all know, the remodel process continues. Little bumps and bruises here and there, but it's going along relatively smoothly, I guess. Had a couple small issues that came up while I was on vacation, but nothing nothing too major. The building restoration process has been completed. If you haven't noticed the difference, you haven't been looking very close. It's made a
Big difference.
made a big difference in the appearance of the building, as well as maybe some of the things you don't pay attention to. You know,
Very
a lot
nice.
a lot of mortar work repaired, and very, very happy with that process.
Yeah.
Detention center, same old story, where, as I'm sure Brad made you aware, you know, whatever his last report was, the numbers are climbing again, and therefore, you know, our little issues are climbing again also, but, you know, nothing out of the ordinary at this point. Ag building, same old story. We're continuing to work with the insurance companies on the damage claim out there. Nothing new to report on that yet, so that's what I have for you today.
Any questions for Milo? I think while you're up here, we're gonna just drop down to number 8. Rick, if you don't mind waiting just a minute, it won't take long. And this is discussion, possible action to authorize application of grant funds for a project, and that was the tree planting project. And the reason that we haven't acted on it yet is that we didn't know what the break was, if it was a total grant or if it was a 50-50 match, or what is it?
Okay. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the particulars, but it was a match grant, and I'm not sure what the county
I studied up a little bit.
match was.
Somebody else gave me a tip about this grant, and I talked to that person again earlier this week, and they said that a couple things. There is a match, but that can be done in terms of like volunteer work. So
Yes.
it depends on how it all works out. I sent a question. You probably saw. I sent a question to the local forester.
Very easy match. I mean,
So it's
it
an
was-
in-kind match?
It can be an in-kind match. It doesn't have to be a
Okay.
money match.
Okay.
And then, but there's a number of things you can do, not just tree planting, but say planning or assessing the tree
Yeah, having,
collection.
if someone were to come in and do an
So-
assessment,
That might be good.
that would count towards
Yeah.
the grant match.
Yeah,
And
so
what was the
very
grant?
flexible.
5,000?
Max is 5,000 for a planning or assessment part. For a tree planting, the max was 1,000 per year. So apparently this is a regular thing. I mean, I don't know if there's I'm comfortable applying for that grant, but there's still a little bit of research about exactly what we'd want to do. So I'm fine either way if we want to.
Is everyone else comfortable with the information that we have about it now?
Yeah.
Then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that
I have a
motion.
motion by Hatton, a second by
I'll second. I'm sorry.
Van Duzen to proceed with the grant application. And Milo, are you making that grant application?
Yeah, I will.
All right, okay.
Do that paperwork.
Any other discussion in reference to this motion? Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Milo.
Thank you.
Thanks, Milo.
Thank you for your report. All right, Rick, Highway. Good morning, Rick. Good morning again.
Morning, Rick.
Rick has handouts in front of you this morning, colored pictures.
The pictures that I handed out are of, on County Road 75, which would be east of town. It's Willow Creek that butts up to our right-of-way there. And the fence is pretty much where the right-of-way is. And as you can see that the fence is hanging. And I had talked to Clark Engineering yesterday. They met me out there. They have a wetland specialist, and she is going to give me a proposal on this. And there's about, like I said, 200 feet there that will have to be sloped and rip-wrapped fabric underneath that. But I'll have to probably get a permit from the Corps engineers because it's in a creek, so
Where the
this was something
Topeka
that,
shiners are.
let's hope not. But that's all part of it there, so.
It's
and they-
just erosion that's occurred over
Yep,
years.
yep, yeah, because I should have took a picture. When you look at it, the river comes down and it makes a U right there, and that's why it washed out there. I should have took one facing to the west. But that's why it's so bad right there. The rest of it isn't too bad, but it comes down and it banks it around the corner and sends it the other direction. So that is in the process. So she'd probably the end of this week, first part of next, she'd have some kind of idea what to do there. So,
All right, good.
well, we finally got all of our screening done. That we got a pile of screening material, reground material from the city this summer, and it's all ready to go. That took quite a while to get done because they did more paving this year than what they were anticipated. So, and then we had some from County Road 6 that was in the middle of that too. So, and we have a huge pile of extra big stuff that I'm not really sure what we're going to do with that. So, if you know somebody that needs some,
Help yourself, huh?
I'll be glad to part with some.
How would we charge for that?
I had talked to Dunnex and they figured it'd be about $10 a ton if we wanted to get rid of it. So, and if somebody wanted some, we just,
So when you talk big stuff, what are we talking, Rick? What size?
it just depends how you can chisel it off the pile, because we have to use the D8 to get it off. So when you go in there with the loader, yeah, it could be big chunks, you know, some of it could be manageable stuff, but if we can't get rid of some, we may have to talk to somebody about bringing a plant in to crush it and put it on top of our stuff that we've screened, so. Because otherwise,
Is that the pile that's got the grass or the weeds growing over the top of it?
no, that's just a dirt pile.
Oh, that's a dirt pile.
Yeah, we use that for fill and a little bit of everything, so.
At this point, this stuff is considered surplus property, and the board always takes action when we take bids every year to allow Rick to sell surplus property, posts, whatever we've got, for whatever price is appropriate. So that's how we are allowed to dispose of it.
And is that done at the first?
No, it's done
Is that
when
done?
we take bids every
Okay.
year.
So that's part of it, the language is in the motion.
Nope, it's a whole separate motion. We just do it at that time of year to remember to get it done. You make a motion to allow Rick to sell used plank, bridge
Pole
posts,
posts and,
tires, culverts, that type of thing, and this would fall into that category.
if next year, depending on what the city does, we don't get all of their reground material because they have the landfill, the airport, and other projects for the street department. And it just depends on where they're at, you know, if we're closest, they'll haul it to us. And otherwise, they'll haul it out to the landfill, and like out at, the new fire station, they've got a lot out there that they put quite a bit in there. They use it for different things too, it just, we're a spot that they can get rid of it, and then they come back and take some of our stuff that we've screened that has gravel and stuff in it, so it's more manageable. Every once in a while, we have to use the dozer to loosen that pile up a little bit too after it sits for a while. So,
is that something that we want to continue doing, is taking their,
yes,
okay?
yes.
Because we
use
have
it.
use for that.
We use it,
and-
the
okay,
especially the stuff that we've screened.
okay,
We use it for shoulder material.
okay.
We use it for patches. You can put it in water, and as long as it doesn't get washed away, you can make a road right through water.
Okay.
It's good stuff, so.
Good. All right.
Okay.
Mowing, the top 2 cuts, we should have that done this week. And now we're out cleaning up places that we couldn't get in along bean fields that are coming out, cornfields, approaches, different places, because they try to get over everything with 2 cuts in case it snows. That way we have all that done, and that takes roughly 5 to 6 weeks to get over everything. And this year we had good going because the temperature was cool. When it's hot, it slows the process down so much that the guys can only go a mile and have to cool the machine off. This year they were able to go. So we got over everything relatively quick. Now they just have to clean up. If you have any spots that you go by, like on your way home, if you got any spots that you notice that is along somebody's field, let us know. Because those guys are all doing that now and trying to clean everything up so it doesn't hold snow this winter.
How about the striping?
The striping is scheduled to get done on the 18th. But being all the weather we had last week, I haven't got an email this week to let me know that it's changed yet. So I'm hoping it gets done this week, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
One of the things that has happened in my neighborhood is some of the neighbors that, well, the worst spot isn't the coming out of the field, it's coming out of his yard. And he's got mud all over the highway again.
Yep.
And it'd just be striping over mud is all it would be, and that wouldn't work, so.
Yep, and we've been going around with the pull-type broom
Yeah, I
to
saw
try
it
and
go by yesterday, yeah.
get some of that off. Some of that, we may have to run the blade up there and chisel it off and broom
Yeah.
it again. So
Yeah.
it's just, and with all the rain, the farmers are trying to get in the field
Yeah.
and
They're dragging, and they can't help it.
Yeah.
They gotta bring mud out the road.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it, yeah.
yep, and that's,
In that striping project, are you going to do the stretcher road, so it would be the second exit, the one that goes, I don't have the number right off the top of my head,
10-4
by the bus barn,
by
but going,
Stoltenberg's.
yes,
180?
Yes.
that will be getting done.
I'm not gonna make any promises because I've got it on my sheet for them to do.
Okay.
And being they're behind, I don't know if I'll get it, if they'll do it or not.
How many miles do you have to go there, like, to do? Just
On,
that
just
area?
down that stretch,
Yeah,
there's roughly a half mile there.
just in that area?
Yep,
Okay.
and down where the right-of-way is washed out, there's another half mile they could do. That
Okay.
one's not near as bad as
As
the one
critical
there.
as, yeah, the one
Yep.
up by the interstate? Okay.
Yep, yeah, they've called several times on that. and
Okay.
I told them I'll try and have them
Yep.
do it, so,
Yep, okay. Well, I'll pass that on too, because I had a conversation with them as well.
yep.
Okay. Thank you.
We're graveling, and that's been a slow process because of the weather and our remodel project. That's slowed things down. But we plan on hauling gravel until it freezes up. Hopefully the weather will be like today for quite a while. That would help us out tremendously. But
Everyone.
that's there again, the farmers are trying to get their crops out of the field and we're in the way, and so we're trying to work with them, you know. So phase 2 has started. The lights and the ceiling are out. They're spray foaming right now, so hopefully they'll get that done today, and then maybe tomorrow we can paint a little bit so we get the ceiling started putting back in, so we can have because 3/4 of that has no ceiling in it, so whatever heat's coming out is staying up above. So
Yeah.
because from where the furnace is to the office, there's a pretty good span that it has to, the heat has to get pumped up there. So now that the weather's a little nice, because as soon as we got the furnace hooked up, we had to turn it on. You know, I was hoping we wouldn't have to do that, but
It's been
things
chilly.
change, so. But that's going along, so hopefully next week we'll have the lights and the ceiling and everything back in, and because the shop is half full of stuff that came out of the break room and the parts room, and so that's going along pretty good. Rumble strips were put on County Road 6 from County Road 11 to County Road 13. And they did not do the first 1,000 feet when you go west of 11. I'm not sure why, because it was new blacktop and it had already been striped and everything. So they just skipped that part, and where we started chip sealing is where they continued on. I'm not sure why, and I got a hold of the guy in Brookings from the DOT, and he said it was just one of those things. They didn't want to disturb it because it had already been painted and everything. So there'll be 1,000 feet that doesn't have rumble strips on it.
That's
But-
probably not the
Yeah.
end of the world, that's not so bad. There is rumble strips there for the stop.
Yeah, for the stop sign, there's rumble strips. This is along the edge of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Are they the kind that they cut, or the adhesive kind? I mean, do they have kinds that they stick on?
They're cut.
Well, just on the other side of the fog line. That's
Yeah,
where
it's
those
probably
are at.
probably
Okay.
right on the fog line,
Okay.
real close to it. Because they cut the rumble strips and then they fog sealed that. And then they've already came and painted the fog lines on that stretch, but there's no center line for, the first 1,000 feet has center line, the next 2 miles don't.
Oh,
And then beyond that, it's all chip seal. There's nothing, we're waiting for them to come and do that, so. In November, I would like to advertise for a maintenance 2 position, being as Lynn moved up, and with the hire date of the 1st of January. And I won't even advertise it until next month. And that way I have November and December to hire someone. With the holidays in there, it gets kind of cut up, but that's what I'd like to do in November to get the applications out.
Should we do the authorization now, Cindy?
It's not on the agenda, so we can do it
Okay,
next week.
We'll do it next week.
Okay.
Yep.
But I just thought I'd let you know that that's
Yep.
something that I have planned, so.
What position was that again?
It was a maintenance 2.
Okay. Are you going to be okay if we would get snow? You going to be short-staffed, or?
We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
And we'll get it on the agenda for next week.
Okay.
And also, I would like to, I'll put this on the agenda for next week too, if I have to. Rick Holinka is maintenance 2 right now. I would like to move him to a maintenance 3.
You can just do that through a personnel change.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Let's see.
So we need that, did you submit that form to me? I can't remember.
Can't remember if I
Okay, yeah, just submit that form and we can get that done next week too.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Does that count for rolls?
Yeah.
So that was
I just
wasn't that-
informed him of that. Might as well be a ring.
I think we have a buyer.
We're all really hungry.
It is his birthday. Are you going to give him a pass? Yes.
It's not on the agenda.
Oh. So it's your birthday
Do we
today.
need to
Happy
vote on
birthday.
that?
It's Eddie's birthday.
You're going to give him a pass
Happy
on his
birthday, Lee.
Pass or the birthday?
I'll bring donuts next week, because it was my birthday this year.
Well, good, I'll come next
JT, you're
week
off the
then.
hook.
You're going to change your report date? Well, you got to come back for your,
I gotta go back next week, so.
All right.
Okay. We are tentatively set to move back to 8-hour days on the 5th of November. But if the weather stays nice and we have graveling to do, would I have the option to stay on 10-hour days for another week or 2, depending on the weather?
Unless somebody here has an objection,
I think that's a decision
just your
you handle.
Department,
Okay.
department
yeah,
decision.
supervisor's
Okay,
Yep.
discretion.
all right.
I put it.
The Hill Blocks View sign was installed.
I
Did
seen
you get
that.
to see that?
I did, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that, because I had talked to Mark, he wanted it back a little farther, and I explained that the further back you go, the less possibility
Effective
they'll be
it might
going
be.
that slow when they go by his house, so. And it's relatively close to where their driveways and stuff are, so hopefully it helps.
Is that the house that we had the traffic complaint a while back?
Yes.
You did
Yeah.
the speed study?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
We're going to try the Hill Blocks View method first and see if that helps
Takes
kind of
care
slow
of it.
things down.
Yep.
Yep. I was there and just talked to him and seen it, so
Oh, good.
thank you.
Good. I think I'm just about done. I'm going to the local road conference in Rapid City today. I went to it one time 5 years ago, and that was a really good conference to go to, because there's more than South Dakota there, and people to talk to, and even the vendors like going to that one. The people that I've talked to, that they sit in on some of the
Sessions.
sessions, because it's good stuff to listen to, so. But then I'll be leaving for that here shortly, so,
All right. Well,
And that's-
drive safe.
thank you. And that should conclude
You're not
everything.
taking a boat or anything, right?
What's that?
You taking a boat?
No boats, no boats.
That's always a
I'll
standard.
think about that when I cross the river, though.
Too chilly to fish anyway.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Let's go
Thanks,
on
Rick.
to number 6 on the agenda, action to approve a cell phone stipend for the corrections sergeant. And I did talk to Mr. Blackwelder this morning, and he asked if he should come up here, and I said, no, we could handle it without him up here. And that's the new hire, and that would be the same thing that we offer the others.
It's $40.
Stipend. So I'll entertain a
Move
motion.
to approve.
I have a motion by Hatton, a second by who? Who spoke up there? Waterman? Commissioner Waterman, a second?
Good second.
Any discussion? Any
So
discussion?
this is just personally giving it to Mr. Blackwelder, the same stipend that Mr.
No, this would
No,
go,
this
this
is
is
actually
going to go
to
to the
Maria.
corrections sergeant.
Escamilla, we have a,
Oh,
We have a
okay.
personnel
Okay.
change to
Yeah.
take care of it,
Today.
yeah,
All right,
yeah,
that's
yep.
in your,
got it, yeah,
He had a promotion,
yeah. got it.
yep,
Yeah, it's not actually a new hire, it's just a new position, or they moved into that position.
promotion,
Yeah.
And she's receiving the same benefit as
Yes.
anyone else that's
yep.
in her
Any other
position.
discussion? Good discussion, though.
Yeah.
Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Pose same sign. Okay, let's go on to number 7 then, action to change the November 6th commission meeting date. And Cindy said it was for her state of mind, because she needs a,
No, it's not for my state of mind, although that could use some assistance also. November 6th is Election Day. I use this office to process the absentee ballots, and there's no way I would have time to, or anybody on my staff would have time to clerk the county commission meeting. So for years, we have not met on Election Day, but instead met on the Thursday following so that we can canvass the votes to send to the Secretary of State's office and hold our regular meeting.
that is the 8th.
That would be the 8th.
That's a Thursday.
So,
I'll make a motion
we
that
have a
we
motion
change
by
the date.
Hatton, second by Gable. Any discussion? Don, you got it? JT, you got it? Yeah. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. We had 8 already, let's go to 9, action to approve a change order for courthouse remodel project. Do we have any change orders?
No, no, Mr. Chairman, not right now.
Nothing today, oh, okay. Okay, to go on to number 10, action to approve claims for payment. Do we have any claims for payment?
No claims today.
And how about 11, automatic budget supplements?
We do have those. An automatic supplement is when we receive money or have bills that are not anticipated. This is for the POD grant. We received POD grant funds in the amount of $7,500, so we'll do a automatic supplement to that revenue budget. And then we had expenses for the POD clinic that are covered by the grant funds. So we will do an automatic supplement to the emergency management budget for those items. We had a charge to Jurgens Printing for $110.50 that will supplement for forms for the pod. More pod supplies from Office Peeps for $173.84. Lots of office supplies, masking tape, etc. Binderies for the pod from Print 'em Now for $35.45. And more supplies from Walmart for $340.92. We've paid these bills, and now we have pod grant funds to supplement the expenditures.
make a motion to approve those
We have a
supplements.
motion by Van Dusen, second by Gable. Any discussion? My question would be, what were the total of the expenses? Did somebody keep track of that?
And I did not add those up either.
And it's not
I was
life or
going to, I
death.
wasn't quick enough.
Doesn't sound like it. Sounds like we came out,
Yeah, they're not, I mean, they're just basically what they need to run
Conduct the
the,
pod.
just give me a second.
Yeah.
Probably going to be under 500.
I thought one of us would be sitting here keeping a tab.
Well, if I'd have thought, I would have
That's
had
your
that ready
job.
too. I should have.
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
$660.21.
$660.
We did have some previous claims, so that is not the total cost of the pod clinic, but it was for the day of, basically.
Miscellaneous
Looks like we should
expenses.
run more of those. Need some money on that. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's go into number 12. Action to approve personnel changes. We do have two of those,
Two.
and they are in your packet.
The first one is the part-time hire that you authorized me for the election work, and she has jumped right in and been a big help because our numbers for early voting did pick up a week ago today when we came back from our 3-day holiday. That's Sandy Struce, step 5, $16.88 an hour. She will work through election day. And then Maria Escamilla is a correctional officer in the detention center, and she is being promoted to the position that Matt Blackwelder held, which is corrections sergeant.
Move to approve.
A motion by Hatton, a second by Gable. Discussion. I know Maria is also fluent in Spanish, and I know they use her as a translator. And
I was just going to say that, Mr. Chair. I know both of these people, and I'm very glad that they work for Cottington County. Sandy was doing an excellent job in there, I've been told, and Maria is a great asset to the county. She also doubles as a translator when we need her to translate when we have a call where language is a barrier. So having a cell phone for her is a good thing too. So thank you very much.
all right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Any travel requests?
None today.
None today. How about old business? Any mature business we need to take care of?
Mr. Chairman, I can give a couple updates on the
Okay, go ahead.
on the remodel. So couple odds and ends. Just like Milo was saying, a few small issues that we have to deal with. Like usually it's something about moving a this or that that's there in the courthouse and then finding a way to do that. One thing, Sheriff Howell and I are talking about the security checkpoint that's coming in, so we're having some discussions to make sure that looks the way we want it to look, particularly the sheriff wants to look because he has a responsibility to keep the courthouse secure, especially when court proceedings are going on. So that's ongoing. The other thing, this is a bit of good news. You know we have a law library fund. One of the things that law library fund can be used for is courtroom presentation technology. So that's a chunk of the remodel budget. So the good news is we can use that money for some of the courtroom technology in the remodel, which will save the county some money. So that's, and as far as the exact amounts, what that turns out to be, we'll see when we get billed. But that's good. And then the other thing on the remodel, the next progress meeting is this Thursday at 11 in the courtroom space. So that's so I'll cover that one, but another commissioner might want to just jump in just to see what that's
October
like.
18th?
Yeah, October 18th at 11 is what I got. And then the other item on the Juvenile Detention Alternative Initiative, as you know, we had an assessment done with the people from the Annie E. Casey Foundation and the UJS, so the Unified Judicial System. So that draft assessment is out. We're going to be talking about that today at the GDAI meeting at noon at Watertown High School. In general, though, I read it. The general conclusion is we obviously don't incarcerate a lot of juveniles, but at the law enforcement world and the jail have done a good job implementing the risk assessment instrument, which is a thing Commissioner Van Duzen was telling me about a situation last night where you had to do this, it's a screening tool where you basically ask questions of the situation to see whether or not a juvenile should be incarcerated. So our community is doing a good job implementing that. The challenge is going to be, in a nutshell, finding the alternatives for those when you really shouldn't. It's best not to incarcerate somebody, and the assessment says you should find an alternative to incarceration. So that kind of in-between level is going to be the challenge for the community to figure out kind of a regular way to do that. It's a bit more challenging, ironically, because the numbers are low, so you don't really want to have an expensive solution, so you have to work with the community assets. So that's a lot of what we're going to be talking about, I think, in the next, probably next year or so with that JDAI committee. So JDAI, again, stands for Juvenile Detention Alternative Initiative. And I got a draft of the assessment. I can email it through Cindy for the other commissioners. So.
All right. Anything else for old business? What about new business? Any new business? Any new? Seeing no new, what about open? Anything for the open?
There could be a quorum of commissioners, possibly tonight. There's a public meeting at the library at 7 o'clock with Jason Ravensburg. He's going to be going over the initiated measures.
He does a really good job of that, too.
Yep,
Explains
he
it very
does.
well.
On Thursday, later afternoon, the Watertown Development Corporation is having their annual meeting. That starts at 4:30. Did you want to say anything more about that, Chris?
Just all invited out of the pavilion up there at the rec center, 4:30 hors d'oeuvres, and usually done by 6 o'clock.
It's always a nice event to go to.
Thank you.
There's also the Planners Conference going on in Huron. If anyone, I don't know if anyone's attending that, but maybe there could be a quorum of us at that. Voter registration deadline is Monday, October 22nd, if you want to get that done, 5 p.m., right, Cindy? Mm-hmm. Be the last that you can go in and get
Make any
registered.
changes or get registered to vote, yep.
Just a question on that, when somebody registers, they can vote right then and there.
That's
can't they?
correct.
They can do their early voting if they want to.
They can, if they're ready, if they
I
are
maybe
informed.
I maybe should have put this under new business possibly, or old. I will be involved in a meeting tomorrow afternoon at 1 in this office. ICAP drug court coordinators and the tenant to work on the transitional housing rules and regulations and trying to get that all coordinated. So we're moving along on that. Also, CIT training, when are they going to do the role playing? Do you know?
I think that's the 18th. I want to say that's Thursday, but it's
That's
kind of an
this
ongoing
Thursday?
thing all day. That's what I have on my calendar. But
Yeah.
are you,
Yeah, I believe that's right.
yeah,
I believe
but I forgot where. It's at the Extension Center, I think, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I had to-
You don't know the date on that for sure?
But I know it's Thursday. But I think it's an ongoing thing all day.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah,
and
I'm
I
not
don't-
sure at what
yeah.
point they do the role playing,
Yeah.
but that is something that I thought would be interesting to see how they implement their training and
Check with
talking
Brad, he
people
would know.
down.
All right.
The volunteer appreciation dinner, Brenda, are you just a 1 for that?
Put 2.
2? Okay. Myron, I got you for 2. Lee, are you 1 or 2 for that?
Probably 2, but I gotta.
And
Sure.
2 for
2.
Troy?
Probably
2. All right. I will let Sherry know. She needs that information.
All right.
And that is when, the 23rd?
The,
Is it next,
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
23rd.
Yep.
next Tuesday?
Next
At
Tuesday
6:30.
night.
Okay. All right.
911 services were down in the state. I don't know if they're back up again or
Nope,
not.
they're
but-
still down.
Stabilized.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Sheriff just sent that.
Anyone in Cottington County is to call 882-6210.
I think JT put that out on the public opinion website as well. and I know
Sheriff's,
the radio
the
stations.
sheriff sent out a Nixle. Did you?
Yep,
get- okay.
that's what I was
Yeah,
reading
that's
off
what I
from
got
here.
too.
It's affecting all the counties around Cottington, Day, Grant, Dual, Hamlin, Cottington.
So what
So-
causes that?
Oh,
Somebody cut a
probably
wire.
A goose flew into a wire or
Okay.
turkey or
I don't know.
something.
Say the Russians or the Chinese are happy.
All right, let's go on. Is there any one interested for public comments at this time? We didn't have any requests. Any comments from the commissioners at this time, kind of sort of during the open? I have no requests for executive session
Make a
at
motion
this time.
to adjourn.
We have a motion by Hatton to adjourn and a second by Gable. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
See, Chris?
Thanks, Chris.
Motion carries. We are adjourned. This is a new record just about.
Pretty much, 9,
Jake, you said we've been breezing right through these. We really
38.
breezed through.